call the coronavirus the China virus or like the Wuhan flu. And at first that stuff didn't really affect me, but the more I watch it, like the more it sort of gets at me.
Last year, when the pandemic first started, a Chinese visa student, which was also my friend, was yelled Chinese virus 2 times a day by different people when walking on the street of downtown Toronto.
For me, I've had a neighbor ask me like, oh, do you have COVID? He told me that it was my people who brought the virus or, gave it to everyone. And this really made me feel a lot of emotions, but mainly I felt really alienated.
That just adds another thing onto the list of things that I have to worry about and everyone else should also worry about, because there is systemic racism in Canada as well as the rest of the world.
The recent Atlanta shooting targeting Asians is astonishing and unacceptable.
I woke up one morning in March. It was a really gorgeous spring morning, very warm outside, so I was lacing up my shoes to go on a run. And this was after the tragedy that had happened in Georgia. I wanted to get out and clear my head because all the night before I was stuck in this cycle of frustration, then anger, then helplessness. And then my mom called me, so we video call, and she asked me where I'm going, and I tell her that I'm going on a run. And she told me not to. She said it was dangerous. She looked really scared, so I didn't end up going.
A lot of these news articles had detailed that a majority of the victims were all Asian women, and that the shooter had already professed his hatred of Asian people, both in person and online. However, there were still some people on this discussion board who were pushing the notion that it wasn't an anti-Asian attack and that it was just a mass shooting, a random mass shooting.
The overall mood when I was experiencing it was not very serious. However, I heard a lot of statements that show stereotypes towards Asians.
I remember being called a fob, which is a derogatory term mostly directed towards international students, to kind of say you don't really understand the culture, you don't really know English. It made me think, what was it? Was it my bangs at the time? Was it my the way I dressed that day or something like that?
Even teacher has taught the rules, but I still have something I don't understand, something they think everyone should know. They will show a look of impatience and answer curtly. Many new international students are shy, and it is a little bit hard to express themselves.
When talking to others, the person often frowns or sighs when he or she doesn't understand our English or has a little difficulty communicating.
One of my classmates has imitated my accent in English in front of the class and said it was just a joke.
I would eat certain East Asian foods, like I would bring in rice or fish or sushi, and eat snacks like peas and seaweed, and I would always get some sort of comments on it, like, "What are you eating? That's so gross." And it wasn't necessarily bad comments, but it stuck with me, like, oh, am I eating something wrong? Am I not allowed to eat this? I would also get referred to as that one Asian girl that's really smart. I would have people come to me for math work and shit off of me and, ask me to do their work for them. At the time, I didn't really realize that this was subjecting me to some sort of stereotyping and some sort of racism, not necessarily violence, but it definitely stuck with me. I did think, is that the only thing I'm good for?
There were times that I thought that my race only led me to miseries. We need someone to stand up and tell us that yellow skin is not what they see us as.
I do not want to be minoritized, and so I don't want to be seen as or called a minority, because there's nothing minor about my Asian identity.
I believe we should not be judged negatively for what we look like and where we're from. I want to be known for my accomplishments and my involvement in the community and my hobbies and my passions.
I want others to view me no different than the next person.
I want people to understand my values, who I am as a person, my personality, and I found that these things are a lot more important than what I look like.
I do definitely know how I don't want people to see me go. I don't want people to see me as passive, or I don't want people to pity me. But I would really, really like it if you would stand up for us and with us in these times.